will begin in 5,
4,
3, 2,
1.
Thursday night CrossFit Talk with Scott Schweitzer and Jamie Latimer.
We about to change the game. We out here taking names. Let our voices rise. Let them reach the skies. We about to change the game. We out here taking names. Let our voices rise. Let them reach the skies. Hickory, dog. Giving them all that we got. Kick on the door. Try to knock, but nobody answered. I'm going hard and taking my chances. I keep it moving. I keep advancing. Keeping it.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Thursday night CrossFit Talk. My name's Scott Switch. I'm the Clydesdale. She is 2023 Legends Champion, Jamie Latimer. What's going on?
Not much. Getting back into the swing of things.
Come on. You got to get...
Well, is
Damn.
there really much to be excited about? That's to be determined.
I think there's a lot to be excited about, and we'll get into that in a minute. But what are your... I got back from Tempe, and it's like, it's Christmas.
Snowing on the ground?
No, like, I
Oh,
literally have my family Christmas party this Saturday.
okay. So I do too.
So mom's coming in tomorrow. Kids coming in tomorrow night. Christmas stuff on Saturday. Then Monday is my wife Julie's birthday.
Ooh.
And then we like smoke all the way into Christmas. And then a week later it's my birthday. So like this is pure celebration 2-week thing for us. Crazy. So your family's this Saturday as well?
So my mom's side of the family, I think I said this before, my mom's one of 8 kids and like the whole family lives around here. We go to the Eagles, kind of like a VFW type hall, one of those. So we basically have to rent out the hall because the family's too big with the kids and the grandkids. So that family Christmas is Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm going to let this person in while we're still chatting about Christmas, but with all the soccer scarves behind them. Anyway, yeah, so it all ramps up. So this is just my side of the family. Julie's side will be actually like Christmas weekend.
Yeah.
So we'll do all that. Yeah, so just everything ramped up when we got here. And what I have to figure out is, last year I did the Hot Ones challenge on my birthday and made it a live show. What am I going to do this year to top it?
We're supposed to be doing Linda.
Oh my gosh.
You forgot about that?
Totally.
Okay, well, we'll discuss
Totally.
it. We'll think about it.
All right. Well, one of the reasons we're here, and I want to get this news off the top because I missed it somehow. Did you see that Andrea Nisler is pregnant?
No.
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen. So it totally slipped by me. Kat sent me the reel today, but it's about the 2 nerdiest parents in Minnesota. And they're actually dancing to You Can Call Me Al by Paul Simon.
Oh, boy.
I know it's old news, Ken. I said I missed it.
I didn't know, so it's brand new news to me. Are they married?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I swear she was just on Savan like not even a year ago, and she just had a boyfriend.
What does this look like?
When did they get married?
I don't know. I thought they've been married a while, but so
That's cool.
So Andrea Nisler is
Congrats.
pregnant. Super cool. I just wanted to get that out off the top before we get mixed up in all the other stuff. But we're really here to kind of like wrap up Legends. That's our main thing tonight. Jamie has to go right at 9:00, so we won't be able to like just kind of hang out all night like normal. But we want to get all this in. We mentioned off the top, Jamie, 2023 Legends champion, 40 to 40 division. Your first time competing in that division. So I brought on Andrew. Andrew reached out to me, wanted to help out because he has a completely different perspective. And just to let the audience know, I'm going to keep talking for a second, is I was at athlete briefing and Joe and Bob came out and they were introducing everybody, parts of their teams. And they said, we have this original 6 skeleton crew. And they introduced those 6. And then they said, we're bringing on a 7th. And that 7th is Andrew Sten. So
That's me.
I jumped through the roof when I heard that because nobody works harder than this man. Nobody volunteers his time more. He is one of the best dudes in the CrossFit space. And I am so that they brought him on as part of their crew. And he's only, I mean, it was an amazing crew to begin with, and he's only going to elevate that. So congratulations, Andrew.
Thank you. Yeah, and I had no idea. It was complete surprise to me. I really didn't even know about the skeleton crew really until recently. But I knew that group they've been running it since I first started going 4 years ago. And so yeah, I was just like I was blown away.
Yeah, such a cool thing for you.
Yeah,
so you're
awesome.
here
Well
to
deserved.
give like a perspective from, I guess, part of the skeleton crew and volunteer experience at Legends.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw what was going on for the volunteers, and I thought it was an A+ way that a comp takes care of their people. I want to hear from you what you thought.
They do an awesome job. Bob, Joe, Sarah, Joe's wife, Amy, and Aaron Halda. Like Aaron was the head of the Reset Gear team, and then I'm sure Jamie's met DJ. In the briefings, and everyone loves DJ. So I mean, it's but yeah, I mean, they really do their best to take care of everyone because they know how much they're asking of the volunteers, and it's tough. I mean, Scott, I mean, you've been to big comps. I mean, Jamie, you've been to really big comps. I mean, the really big comps, the games, Wadapalooza, Rogue, they get people easily. Everyone wants to go there. And Legends has been kind of like in between a local comp and a Wadapalooza type. No, they're getting to that level. They're really getting there, but no, they struggle to get volunteers sometimes. So they're really reaching out to people, locally and everywhere. And then sometimes they can only get people. They get people that think I can do one day or I can do half a day. And so if you watch the judges, like you'll see sometimes faces that like are there and then aren't there. And so, I mean, and that's what they deal with it, but they make it work. And they are so appreciative of everyone that takes their time out of their weekend to support what they're doing.
So I got to be in the volunteer lounge to eat because for the first time ever, media were fed by the event organizers, which blew my mind.
Yeah. When I first saw you in there, I was like, what's he doing in here? It's like, but that's really cool. That's great that they took care of you like that.
Media, vendors, and volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
And how smart is that? Vendors pay for the competition for you. Media publicize the competition for you. Those two people happy has to be a great thing for the competition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it just helps to spread the word of what they do for people. I mean, like you said, to keep the media people happy, they're going to bend over backwards to get the content out and to make really awesome content. I mean, if you've seen any of the content that some of the photographers and stuff have been doing, they've been doing a lot.
Yeah, Be Relentless and I have really hooked up. We've talked all week. I think he's going to help us out quite a bit going forward. That dude's reels are sick. I cannot wait to work together with him. I thought Jamie lost power again.
I was like, what?
So then what about like I saw shoes for the judges,
Yeah, if
the
you're
first
there
four
for
shirts, all of
yep,
that stuff.
yeah, first form like they did the shirts, but they did the apparel for everyone for volunteers and athletes. Tier came in and they if you volunteered, I think a minimum of 3 days. I think if you did at least 3 days, you got a pair of shoes from Tier, which is really cool. No, every volunteer got a backpack, a virus backpack, like a nice backpack. And what's really cool, one thing that they did, something that the games does, and then Scott, you probably know this. So you get a coin, you get a
Yep.
challenge coin. They usually give it to us on Thursday at the volunteer dinner. Um, but it's really cool. It's a cool memento for people that go to the games to get it. It's different every year, and it's all the volunteers get one. The judges get a special judge one, which is really neat for judges. But it's just cool because you can collect them. But then they did patches for this event, and then apparently Sarah was looking at that. She saw, oh, they do coins too. She's like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to do coins? And right about the same time, I'd been on the phone with Joe and mentioned to Joe that it'd be cool to do coins for that. And he's like, hey, that's what we're doing. And so it's really neat that all the volunteers, I think athletes got them too.
I think just the podium.
Oh, just the podium? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So they got a challenge coin to commemorate.
In other words, Jamie got one.
Yeah. So yeah. So it's really neat that though they're doing what they can to really elevate the experience from the volunteer staff side to make it something that people want to go to. And it's really cool. I mean, obviously they're gonna probably do it at in August when they do the games, but then they've got that space now with Arizona State. They've already locked in the dates for next year. So I think that's really going to be a great venue for that event. There's so much that they can do there. They can make use of the pool every year if they want to, or 1 year don't use the pool. They've got soccer fields that if they get used to the soccer fields. However the deal works with them with the school, but I really think there's a lot of potential there. And it's who doesn't want to go to Arizona in December, and the weather was amazing.
Just take lots of water bottles. But that leads me to another point. To pull off a cool event with multiple floors requires a lot of volunteers.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So if someone is interested in volunteering for Legends next year, how would they go about doing that?
They'll probably put it out. I think this year they announced it somewhere around June or July. I know it was before the games that they announced that they were looking for volunteers. But yeah, they throw it out there.
I'm part of the skeleton crew now. Just reach out to me. I'll take care of it.
I'll put your name on the list. I'll send it up the chain. But yeah, it's somewhere in the summertime they'll start looking for volunteers. It's try to get as many as possible. It's long days, but it's fun. It's really fun. It's fun. I was watching Jason Grubb's video today. He did a kind of like a recap. It was a bunch of different things, cuts from each day. And at one point he said, he's talking about it's competing. It's hard. He's like, it's fun, but then he's like, well, it's not really fun. The compete is not fun because it's really hard and it's really draining. But I posted a comment on it. It's like we get at least for me, I get a lot of joy and fulfillment out of doing it. I mean, it's long days, it's hard work, but I enjoy helping put on the event for the athletes. It's something that I get a lot of positive energy from.
That's how you and I met.
Yeah, we met.
We volunteered at the same event. We got to know each other. We've been hanging out ever since at different CrossFit events. And it's like every time you go to an event, it's like hanging out with your friends You're all busting
absolutely.
your ass. You're all doing everything you need to do, but you get to hang out with your friends while you're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, we call it a family reunion. I mean, they're. I'm sure Jamie's seen some of the same judges at all the events. I mean, we're this tight knit group, and there's no.
She knows your names.
She's got a list.
I try.
No, but I mean, I think there's like I'd say 40 of us, like that. I mean, that go to the games, that go to Rogue. You know, that some of us go to MFC. You know, the semifinal events. You know, Wadapalooza. You know, it's like we meet each other and we just we get connected and we stay connected. And when we see each other at the events, we just have a good time. We enjoy spending the time together.
So at Legends, I've said this early in the week. It was special. It was different than other events I've been to. And I truly believe because the event organizers care so much that they're out and they're present at all times. And we'll take a question, we'll take a comment from anybody, from a volunteer, from an athlete. There's nobody that they're above, and they'll receive that and they'll act on it if needed.
Yeah,
and I think that's what makes it special.
Yeah, they're always trying to make it better. I mean, there was a time like we're at one point, for probably about the time that Jamie's group was going on floor 2 for the squat clean handstand walk event. I got a call on the radio. It's like, we need judges. We need judges. And like some of us floor 1 had just gotten done. And so those people were tired. They'd done the same event all day long. So I'm like, okay, they need a little bit of a break. So Bob jumped up and was like, all right, I'll go. Bob Jennings hopped on the floor and he judged a heat. I mean, they're not afraid to get out there and do stuff like that. They'll clean up. I mean, I don't know if you saw the recap video. I mean, they're after each night they're cleaning up the place. I think there's a picture of Joe with the floor cleaner getting the floor clean. So I mean, they do what needs to get done.
So I want to give you a couple minutes just to give your last overall impressions of the event. And then we'll let you go to get on with your night. And I'm going to talk to Jamie about the events themselves and how those went.
Yeah. I mean, it was really, really a great event. I mean, the last time I was in Arizona was in 2020 for the Legends event. The first year I'd done it. That was COVID. They rented the parking lot in Goodyear, the parking lot of the Cincinnati Reds, Cleveland Indians spring training facility. And so there's outdoor event. First day, rain, cold rain. The people in Arizona said, we haven't had rain here in 9 months, and it rained all day long. Wiped out the entire first day. I mean, it's just wiped out an entire day of competition. But then, the next day, we just got going. I mean, it was cold. It was outside. I mean, it's crazy event. I mean, the people there, okay, they had to draw circles on the ground and say, okay, people have to stand in these circles so to keep the distance. But just the way the event has grown. I mean, the next year was in San Diego, and then last year was at Mayhem. It's just every year it's gone up and up and up. The fact that it was at Mayhem last year, that they saw the potential. They're like, oh, we'll help you out with that. And that was a very unique experience. I'm sure Jamie thought that too, to do a competition at Mayhem. But then I think that with the stream that they were able to do that year, I think that just bumped it up another notch. Saying, okay, people took notice of it, and so that's really helped them with getting the CrossFit Games. And so I think it's just every year they're just doing better and better and trying to take it to the next level. And that's their main focus. That's their passion.
Well, I want to thank you so much for being on here. Can I go get you a Columbus Crew Championship scarf to go
dude,
up
there? Dude, don't even be like that. That's not even cool.
They're the champions, right? So
yeah,
you need a championship scarf.
Where is it? Oh, here we go. Yeah, for all the people. If you can't see it, it's bad. Ah. FC Cincinnati. Sorry.
Yeah, Columbus Crew champions MLS
yeah, I
2023.
know. But they didn't win the league. So supporter shields. Supporter shield team. That's what matters.
Okay. Well, with that, I'm going to let Andrew go.
Yeah.
Have a great night.
Don't get
man.
me
Thanks
started
for
on that.
coming on. And we'll have to get you back on as we move into some of the other events, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to be here.
All right. Thanks a lot,
Always
man.
good to see you.
All right. Have fun.
All right. Well, thanks to Andrew for that. And so pumped for him that he's going to be part of that crew, developing probably the CrossFit Games and Legends next year, and be a big part of that. So he's been a loyal listener of ours since we first started. I was friends with him in the judging community way back in the day. So it's been fun to kind of see him develop. Let's move on to you. Legends. This is your third Legends appearance?
Correct.
So you did San Diego Mayhem this year.
Correct.
They start the day off with the swim and the 1 rep max. We talked about it briefly on the wrap-up show that we were able to do from Tempe. Swim went well. 1 rep max, you PR'd, and you really kind of did really good damage control there.
Yeah, it turned out okay. I mean, we knew it wasn't going to be spectacular. I'm happy with the swim. But yeah, 16th or whatever I got in the lift is not worse than 50%, so I'm happy.
And for me, the swim, you had one of the best races of the weekend when you were behind the person in the lane beside you the entire race until you both touched the last wall with 1 lap to go at the exact same time and raced to the finish, and you reeled her in and took over 1 more spot. Yeah. And that was Ronica and I were jumping around, and Jim and everybody. It was freaking awesome. So that was great. Then we went into day 2, which was Jamie's Day. I think they've renamed that Jamie's Day.
Yeah, those were better workouts for me.
And the night before, I called that you would win event 4. You said, no way, no way. Then event 3 comes, and you decide to win that one. So that one was the bar muscle up. No.
Lunge.
The
lunge.
Oh my gosh,
deadlift, hang squat clean, devil's press.
Okay,
double.
Yep. And if you dropped, you had to do the penalty of devil's press.
Correct.
Yeah, and that was on the back floor.
Correct.
It was chaotic. And then you got into the lead, and then it became pretty obvious. Thoughts about that event?
I liked it. I mean, for me, like usually any type of muscle endurance test is going to be good for me. And I like those challenges of like, there's going to be a penalty if you don't do this. I mean, I probably would try to hold on to it anyway, but there becomes like a gaming system. If like, do you break it? You know, like forcing that uncomfortableness in the grip is just a cool little twist.
You came off the floor. Your first words to me were, "It's all in my forearms. It's all in my forearms."
And I was like, that win may have just cost me the next win.
Yeah.
That was my first thought. That was not the fastest time, Ronica. I think there was one that was like 30 seconds faster in the 35:39.
Yeah. So Jamie's answering this question from Ronica. Did we find out if your time was the fastest time of all age groups? So you win that event. You got to be feeling pretty good. You were not looking at leaderboards ever during the weekend. Now, other people were looking at them.
Correct.
But you were not. So then you go
trying to
into
avoid
event 4, the event that I said you were going to win, because you were one of the best rope climbers I have ever seen on the female side of the sport, regardless of age.
Thanks.
You crushed that workout for 95% of it.
Yeah, it was not a perfect run. I'm
No.
not ecstatic with that workout by any means. I had a couple, everybody did, but I had a couple feet misplacements. The rope was really light. But luckily the rope climbs are my strong suit. So even like a quick little fumble and reset my feet is fine for me. But I think that kind of stuff like extra taxes people's grip and they just kind of panic. They're up there like, shit, I cannot lock my feet. And they either come down and go back up or they just hang there extra long. And again, they like panic. So for me, I really like rope climb. So what's one extra second to rehook my feet?
Nicole said the video you took of the rope climb was such a cool angle. That was my gold medal for the weekend. Figuring that out, getting that shot was awesome. That's the best thing I did all weekend. But anyway, what was cool about it is you were 1.5 pools every single time, consistently. Your descents were unreal. They were so fast. You made up so much ground on your descent every single rope climb. So then you get the panic part for you came in the heavy double unders to start.
Yeah. Which should have been fine. I don't know if I was already thinking about the crossovers. I have no idea. It just was so awkward. I just started jumping and flailing and it just wasn't, I don't know. Luckily it was only 20, got through them and went back and it was okay from there on. And the single under or the double under rope at the end was the rope, not a rope I've ever used in my life. And like normally I would be able to do 60 unbroken, pretty much no problem. I had 2 trips right at the end. I don't know. It is what it is.
So when you did your first jump rope, Ronak and I are looking at each other going, what in the hell is she doing? Like legit. Yeah. That was what was happening. Yeah. And I said to her, I got to shut my camera off because I can't keep recording this.
Yeah, we don't need footage of that.
And so then you went faster. The crossovers didn't give you a single hiccup. And then you got to that final double under rope and you were fine until you had to do 60 and you were fine until 55.
Yeah, basically. I don't know. It might have been 50 and then I tripped again at like 58 and had to do the last 2. But I think I was just rushing at that point. So.
Yeah. And then Ronica said, you've been watching Jim too much. Yeah. But our guy Jim to second place, 65 plus.
He was in first in that by a long shot too. We do lots of rope climbs and we do lots of jumping rope. But he grabbed a long rope, so you could get small, medium, large, long, from RX Smart Gear because we had to use their ropes. And again, neither Jim and I have these ropes. We have our free rope, the beaded crossover, which we both did those unbroken, and you can tell we practiced that. But we don't have the other ropes. And Jim grabbed a long, and it was way too long. He must have tripped every 2. He was by a long shot in first by probably 30-40 seconds and ended up getting second in that workout because he could just not get through his double unders. It was frustrating.
Corey says 58-2 is a bold strategy, Cotton.
Yeah.
But as predicted, you did win that event.
My grip was actually okay after that event, Nicole. I thought it was immediately going to blow up just because it was only, I don't know, maybe 2 hours after the double dumbbell workout. And I was fine. My grip was fine.
You recover so fast. It is unreal. So then we go eat that night. We do the stuff. You come back the next day and you have, that's the bar muscle up one, right? And the cleans and the snatches.
Yes. Yep.
And so you went and did that. And this is where like I saw a maturity in you from when I first met you. And that is that you saw the girl in front of you. And at one point you were like, it's not worth, the juice isn't worth the squeeze.
Yeah.
And you let her have the victory.
Yeah.
So that you would be ready for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, I just knew that I needed to have some, like, a decent amount of reserves. That was even a shorter break. I think it was only an hour and a half till the squat, clean, handstand walk. And it was 155-pound squat cleans, 40 of them. That's very heavy for me. That's like, I don't know, almost 88% or something of my 1 rep squat clean. Like, I don't have a high squat clean. I have a decent power clean, terrible squat clean. So in my head, I was like, if you give everything here and can only recover to like 80%, you're going to be in trouble on those squat cleans. So, because I felt super comfortable through like round 2 and 3 like started to catch up with you, but it was like, do I try to hold on unbroken? Do I try to pick up the pace here, or do I just stay this comfortable pace and hold second where I'm at? And that was kind of in my head where I was like, yeah, I just need to just stay steady.
When the reality is it's 5 points. Like,
Yeah.
and if you're wreck going into that next event, you could have lost 20, 30 points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was another damage control event.
So that's where I, like, the Jamie I first met would have been like balls to the wall, pedal to the metal, let's go. And I loved that you made the smart decision to help you the rest of the weekend. Corey Leonard says, FYI for y'all who don't know, Jamie eats like an NFL lineman. I seen it. She does.
Yeah.
She does.
I like my food.
One of the points I was going to make is I watched the Jason Grubb video, and he is very much about like, I got to get this many carbs. I got to get this much protein. And he's very analytical about everything he does through travel, through everything. When you're with Jamie, it's just, I need to eat. It's not, I need a carb or I need protein. I just need food.
Yeah. I get like, if I get a headache, if I get hangry, it's not good for anybody. So like Aaron tries to avoid that from happening. And I like kind of got a little hangry at night, the one night, because like dinner was really late. So yeah, for me, it's just food. And I'm not going to try to just grab like a candy bar. I'm going to try to grab protein usually of some sort. But yeah, I don't care. I usually just get me some food.
Yeah. So then you go into that
way.
I appreciate that about you. Because I'm the exact opposite of competition. Like, I don't eat.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's got to tell me to eat. Like, Corey the entire weekend is texting me, it's time to eat.
Yeah.
And I'd have to send him pictures back.
I like props to those with the discipline. It's just hard on me. And like, I don't have that, like, I think I put everything into the gym and work and stuff that like, I don't have that mental capacity to put into portioning out food. And I just truly don't care. Like, I eat until I'm full, and it's never really been an issue, like physique wise. Like, I think I burn enough that I haven't had to like, I mean, I'm so fortunate with my genes that I haven't had to. So like, again, props to everyone who does nutrition correct. I've just been very lucky, and I just eat when I'm hungry.
So you go into your heavy squat cleans. You hate squatting.
Hmm.
You hate heavy.
I don't hate squatting. Like, I love wall balls. I just don't like heavy squats.
Let me put it this way. You know that your squatting takes longer than some. And so you know
Yes.
that puts you at a disadvantage even with the light squat. But then you add heavy to it, and then it amplifies that.
Yes.
So your strength was handstand walk, and it became evident during this workout that this was not a handstand walk workout.
Yeah, not really. I mean, the top two or three were like very, very good handstand walkers, like running on their hands essentially. Like, I mean, no one's as good as Danielle Brandon, but Katrin type handstand walking, like very good handstand walking. I'm not that good, and as I get tired, I take longer breaks. And I'm just a little more methodical with my steps. I do not just like run on my hands. But I do I think I have pretty good endurance and handstand walking, and it's pretty good. It's just definitely not world class by any means. So like the people that beat me, I would say they like, I don't know, probably one or two of them definitely were stronger and squatted faster, but I think like one of them wasn't necessarily faster in the squat cleans, just was that much faster in the handstand walk than me.
So where did you end up in that event?
Was I 6th in the handstand walk one, hun? Fifth or 6th, we're not sure.
Okay. I just noticed there's a crutch behind you.
Yeah, Aaron's getting surgery. Yep, where is that? Right there. Yeah.
Boy.
I know. January 5th.
Okay.
Yeah, his
We'll
heel
talk about that
is
later.
so bad. Yeah, we can talk about that later.
So that's pretty good damage control with a heavy squat clean to be top 5, top 6. So your run from Saturday morning or from Friday morning to Saturday night was first, second, 5th, 6th.
Yeah.
Then you get to the final day. What are your thoughts going in? Is it you have you had like a 38-point lead. I don't know if you knew that. We didn't really talk about where you stood. You had a 38-point lead going into the final or 2 events. I think that never changed the entire day.
I think I lost 2 points.
Yeah, like it would. But you won by 36 anyway, and
so I did not know where I was. What I had messaged Tristan and asked if I just finish right behind Carrie in both workouts. Like if I just watch her and finish right behind her, am I safe? And he said yes. So I assumed if she took first and I took second, and that was literally my plan. Like, kind of, she was the one sat right behind in the bar muscle up one. And I was like, okay, I can just sit on her heels, and hopefully we don't get middled too much. That tends to be the case at a lot of these comps. It was a little different at this one. But usually it's like me and another person, and there isn't like a broad range of skills in between, and we just keep going back and forth for points. And I was kind of hoping for the final it'd be sort of like that. Like I was like, okay, just sit on her heels and finish right behind her, and you'll be safe. Well, I started the last workout, and I kind of tried to stay right with her, and then she had an issue with her belt or something. I like looked forward, and she was stopping. She was setting the dumbbell down. So I was like, okay, well, I guess win this one, and then you have some leeway in the second one, which it turns out I needed. So I backed off.
This was 2 back-to-back workouts with a short rest. Never left the floor. You did workout 1.
6 minutes.
6 minutes of, help me out. It was
dumbbell snatch, went up by 2s. So 2, and then you did 10 goblet squats with that dumbbell. It was a 50-pound dumbbell. So you did 2, 10. 4, 10. And you just kept going for 6 minutes. And I finished the 16 snatches and did like 3 squats. I could have done more. But again, I was ahead of her. And I actually thought I was in first on the floor, which I think I was first on the floor until I went slow at those squats. And then Julia did 1 more squat than me. So I got second on the floor. I did not realize that 2 people from the first heat had gotten even further. But that's okay. I was more about placing behind Carrie for me. So yeah, I backed off to try to, like, again, not just crash and burn. You only got a minute rest, and then you had to do 50 thrusters, 25 bar facing burpees.
And thrusters again are that squat. Like, we did a lot of squatting. I say we. Well, I squatted to take pictures. That was about it. And then, but you did a lot of squatting this weekend.
Yeah.
So you finished with the thrusters, and that one didn't go. You said you needed the big win over Julia. So I think she finished 10th in the first part of that event. So you actually had like 6 places on her, and then it almost Carrie, and then it flipped on the next event where she got 6 places on you.
Yeah, basically.
So it ended up
I got 10th. Yeah. Wash. Yep.
Which is what you wanted anyway.
Yes.
Just not the plan and how to do it.
Yes. I have a lot of issues with that workout in general.
Yeah. So, in my opinion, whenever you use this is my opinion only. Whenever you use dumbbells that frequently in workouts, it leaves judgment calls very, very open to the judging aspect of it. And I think that there were some inconsistent calls in the placement of the dumbbells in the thruster. My opinion, just from an observing point of view and a former judge.
I never want to see out of competition the placement at the end be dictated by judging on the floor. And I saw that happen in a couple of age brackets. And that is extremely frustrating to watch somebody get stopped or just continually no repped while the person that's behind or ahead of them, basically behind them, because then they pass them, is doing exactly what they're being told not to do and just moving like right along like it's another day in the gym.
I will say this. I think happens in all sports. They were making a point of emphasis about the dumbbell placement, and they overcorrected. Just like they do in the NFL, just like they do in Major League Baseball. And yeah, I think you should not make it a point of emphasis in the middle of an event, because then things get haywire. But back to like the good part of the story. Corey says, having the ability to play defense in a situation like that is elite level. And I agree.
Yeah, I mean, that's really like the only way I like to operate. I've said this, I can't stand chasing people, or I can't stand being chased. I would much rather chase somebody. So if I know I'm in control and can like dictate where I want to be, way better for me. If I have to go on sprint and try to hold on and pray that I win a workout, I usually redline and tank, and it doesn't work out well for me. So yeah, I like to be able to dictate pace.
So what I'll say is, overall, I thought the programming played out better than it did in my head. Overall, for the weekend. the last day was not my favorite, but I am not a programming expert. But the rest of the weekend played out way better in my head, or way better live than it did in my head. So I have to give them kudos on that. My only beef, which I've said earlier this week, and I will continue to say for all events that don't do this, is a finish line should be away from the chaos. Wherever the chaos is on the floor, the finish line should be opposite that. So you clearly know who has won or not. And you can count 1, 2, 3, 4.
Agreed.
On that back floor, it was shorter. It was like a Wadapalooza type floor because it was shorter. And when you finish in the chaos, there was no way to tell who finished, who was chalking up, who was waving to their mom, who was doing what, because it was just a mess back there. So Corey, I will say, Corey's saying at the finish line should be clearly defined. They had clearly defined finish lines on both ends of that floor. However, they finished on the end where everybody was finishing up their squat cleans. So at that point, you couldn't tell who just took the step to the finish line or who was over getting in the chalk bucket or who was like, you just could not tell.
Yeah, it was weird.
So,
I mean, to their credit, it kind of sucks for you guys as spectators there, but to their credit, if truly the athletes know what they're supposed to do and the judges know what they're supposed to do and the times on the floor are correct, it doesn't matter because they weren't streaming this event, so it didn't need to play out great for spectators. It sucks for you guys that are there for sure, but obviously a storyline on the floor was not their first priority because they weren't streaming.
But they had people there. They had quite a few people there watching. And you still need to tell the story for them. I mean, it was not like Dubai.
No, we had way more fans. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, like Dubai, you could do whatever you want because there's nobody there watching anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But at Legends, there were lots of people there watching. And you do need to tell the story for them. So, I mean, I did my pros and cons earlier in the week. And I can run through them if I can sort them fast. They're all on Post-it notes.
Yes, Corey, that was really Dubai. That actually looked like the fullest. What you just brought up is one of the fullest I've seen.
Yeah. It was never better. It was never better than that.
No. Yes, we did, Corey. Have more spectators at MFC. So
my pros, and you can jump in here if I missed any. State-of-the-art facility, so many amenities, great lighting, and everything was right there. On time the entire weekend. In fact, the back floor even got ahead at times, which is awesome. Sure. Open feel, everything, open feel around the event. Like you could get to and from things pretty quickly. The vendors were awesome. I said programming to some degree. I had it as a con as well, but I thought that it did play out better than I thought it would. The directors were always available and they tried to fix things quickly. They took care of the volunteers, the vendors, and the media with food, shoes, lots of shifts. And then they had a secluded volunteer area where they could go just kind of take a breath. The pool was amazing. And there's so much potential with those backfields behind the area. And then my cons, I must have thrown them because they're all the way back here. Cons were how many, and this is inherent that they can't even fix. Number of divisions, so many divisions throughout the day. The programming, because there's so many divisions and they only had so many volunteers, they could only use a couple of the floors, and everything was a sprint.
Yes.
Long days, and very repetitive. The media space, I mentioned this to them personally. You need a place where you can go set up a laptop and like cut video, edit video, stuff like that. They didn't really have that. I had to like commandeer my own room to do that during the weekend. Not exclusive use of the facility, which kind of gave it a cool thing with the college kids. Like, what the heck's going on here? I want to check this out. But it limited the warm-up space and the warm-up area for the athletes themselves. And I can never read this. It's my chaos piece. That's it. Finish away from the chaos, please.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Events, please. Please. Wi-Fi was actually pretty good, and we just used the guest Wi-Fi. It was crazy.
Like the school's guest Wi-Fi?
Correct.
Wow.
Now you had to register like an account, so it wasn't like just open free. But I never had a problem the entire weekend with upload or download speed.
So, Corey, I will answer this. Corey asked, I meant to text you and ask how the warm-up area. Yep, I meant to ask how the warm-up area was. So I'll give you some of my like pros and cons. I do like the facility. However, I feel like I feel like they need to figure out something for the parking, whether it's kind of like at MFC. Like, we bought a parking pass, and that pass got us in, like, you could come and go from that spot. This was a pay for ramp, and I realize I'm probably one of the rare ones, but we had Scott with us, and I go with Jim, and Jim is in the morning and I'm in the afternoon, and we had one car. And what would have been really great is for us to be able to go, leave, and then go back. But we didn't have that luxury unless we wanted to spend $32 every day. And that just gets extremely expensive when this trip already cost us more than we can afford. So parking, I think, sort of, I wish there was something they could do for that. Warm-up area was god awful, Corey. I heard so many complaints about it. That will be one of the issues that they need to address if they want people to come back to that camp. For one, #no machines, because there was no machines at this event. So there was no machines to warm up on. You couldn't bike. You couldn't, unless you went and took one of the college kids runners. I don't think there was any bikes or rowers. There were some stuff that had like been like tarped off, and I don't know if a couple people from a local gym brought their own rower, if they found these, but there were like 2 or 3 rowers sitting out, so somebody did get a rower out. I personally went up and jogged around the like indoor carpeted track that they had. That's how I warmed up for everything, and then used some bands. And then you were like 3 people on a barbell in this tiny little like hallway strip is kind of all you had. So not great warm up. Not great for a 1 rep max snatch and clean and jerk event, in my opinion. Yeah, I think that's going to be the one thing. And then my only other issue is I still have no idea if we won anything. As of right now, the volunteers got more than we did.
You got a coin.
So so did the volunteers.
You got a medal.
Okay. They got a patch. I didn't.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
It's just honestly, like, we got less than we got at MFC, and I've already said, like, I won't be going back to MFC if that's how MFC is. And I actually got a few things from MFC. I actually got a pair of shoes. As of right now, I got a medal. And there's no communication. Like, I have no idea. Yeah, Veronica got the coin, so I didn't even get the coin, Scott.
Well, you can get it back, I'm sure.
I gave it to her. It's fine.
Well, that really stinks, and I would hope that they would communicate that somehow.
I would too.
Some way. I will say, like, again, this is the first time in this facility. I can't speak to what the last point you made, but with the warm-up area, there is a lot of outdoor space. Like, they could use some outdoor space for a warm-up area if they wanted to, or if they could get it from the school.
Yeah, I do think there's potential for some warm up. It honestly wasn't that warm. Like in December, if this runs again, like it is going to run. They already have this set for the community event. And I don't know if maybe that's the whole thing. Like, the games is going to be in August and the community event is going to be in December. And maybe the community event isn't going to pay, and this was the precedence for that. But man, I think that should have been communicated, because they've paid the last 2 years that I've been. And I fully assumed we were getting paid at this event. I mean, I plan my competitions around. So I have no sponsors to speak of. So, like, I need to win prize money, or I cannot do this at all. So Travis, I have no idea right now if there was prize money or not. I saw someone ask on one of the Instagram posts, and I liked that comment and hoping that there would be a response, and I haven't seen a response.
Pride is great. It doesn't pay for the airline fare or the Airbnb.
And quite honestly, if me winning was enough to get somebody to be like, you know what, Jamie, I want to sponsor you, like, for real, I would be okay with it. But even that hasn't been enough for me to get anybody to back me.
I get it. So I hope that you're going to get paid. They didn't live stream. That was a huge cost savings this year. They had huge sponsors there with Tier, with First Form, with Watt Outlet, RX Smart Gear, tons of big time sponsors at the event. And they cut costs by not live streaming the event. I would hope that you would get paid prize money for this year.
I know you will, Travis.
Carolyn says, do you think people will travel from all around the world next year if the prize money is less than what it got at the games prior?
No. I don't. That's been my worry, Carolyn. It's kind of been my one big thing, that when this announcement got made, they were taking away our games and it was moving to Legends, was that it will not. For one, it probably won't have the same prize. I don't know. I'm praying that it will, but, like, I'm guessing it probably won't, which for part one makes it less, like, prestigious to go. Like, probably not going to get the same kit, all the gear. Then you don't get as much money as you did in the past. And because of that, less top names go. So then you don't really feel like you won, per se, because you don't even know if you competed against the best, because not everyone showed up because it wasn't worth it.
Barbell Spin says, hard to get sponsored when biggest comp of the year isn't live streamed. That's a great point.
I know, it was very frustrating. And, like, we live streamed all my events, but I know that, like, doesn't go out to everybody. And I don't know. I need to get it all up on my YouTube, and it probably should have been live streamed from my YouTube. but that's one heat. Although I don't know if everyone wants to watch 28 heats. So
Yeah. Well, I know you have to go. You have a family coming in tonight, so I hate to cut this short because we didn't even get to half the agenda items. I don't know. Maybe we'll do a bonus show sometime. But I know
we can
things are getting busy during the holiday.
go ahead for a few more minutes. My mom's not here, so I'll let you know. If you want to go into like Grub's recap, let's go through that or whatever was next on your.
Thing about Grub is I wanted to say that you and him are so different. I watched his thing today, and like he's so analytical, and you are so not. And it just really caught me as funny. But I think like, and this is more like an off the air thing. I think we need to do more stuff like that with you. You're very open at an event, and why not have a camera on you during the event, warming up different things, talking to people, and we can air it on the channel and your channel and get some stuff out there. Because I do think that it gave me just a great idea. Because you have you're so different than Grub. It'd be a cool, like, different perspective. We were going to talk about Dubai. I showed you the stands. I think that says enough. I'll tell you who won. Karen Frey on the women's side and Andrea Solberg came in second. Claudia Gluck third. Manon Anganese fourth, and Elisa Fuliano fifth. Watched it today. Man, my big question with Dubai now, I better hit the men before I get into this rant. The men, Roman Krenikov first, Ricky Garrard second, Lozar Jukic third, Fabian Benito Celis fourth, and Anoyo Akai fifth. Can we even consider Dubai a major event anymore? Do I need to show the picture again? Because like
exactly.
There was nobody in the stands.
Yeah,
nobody.
And coverage isn't good. Like you wrote this, you're probably gonna say it, but no coverage on day one. That's typical of them. But that's hard to garner interest there when you don't. Again, just like Legends, if you aren't broadcasting, it makes it hard to get followers for it. But the coverage that they did have was pretty rough. I mean, it's that old school, like following one person, show the one person at the finish line for 30 seconds. You aren't even following the story on the floor.
Right. And beyond that, there's no connection between the direction of the videographers and the announcers. They're separate. The announcers are calling from the feed. They can't tell the person to go to this lane. I am a CrossFit geek. It was unwatchable.
Yeah. Carolyn, I think that's tough because of that UK Fit Fest and so many bigger names there. I think it definitely also took from Dubai. Like, if those are going to happen in the same week and one is going to pull bigger names than what was at Dubai, then I feel like Dubai is no longer going to be a headline competition.
I'll say this: Barbell Spin aired some of Fit Fest. I would have rather watched that than Dubai. The one event they got to show, I was fascinated with just the way the athletes were attacking each other with. They not only had the three teams, but they split them down even more into duos, and it was just so fun to watch. And I was more excited in that one event that Spin showed than I was at watching Dubai. It just, I couldn't get a feel for what was going on.
Yeah. Who is Barbell, Brian? Who is Andy Murray? This is the second time I've heard this guy. Who is he?
Andy Murray was a tennis player, like the best in a tennis player.
Okay.
Like the best in the UK.
Okay. And he was at the UK Fit Fest, not Dubai?
I think he was at Fit Fest.
Okay.
No. He was in Dubai. He was in Dubai because I saw a picture with Emily.
Okay. Huh?
Yeah.
That's something, I guess.
Yeah. Carolyn said they need to figure out scoring. Every year they have so many time caps and ties for scores. Yet all of that. Oh,
Yeah, I couldn't like understand who tested their workouts or what. I was like, either this is way over programmed or yeah, they didn't test it, because not necessarily that it was over programmed, although questionable was the amount of squats. But yeah, to not
Spin.
finish any workout is ridiculous.
Spin, you did awesome for what you were. You had one guy with one camera walking around the floor, and it was still better than Dubai coverage. So yeah, there was Dubai, and the price purse keeps getting lowered, Carolyn, too, in Dubai.
Agreed. Yes.
So yeah, at one point in time they were giving out a lot of money, and now it's just fading, and I think the whole overall competition is as well.
It's not even a CrossFit event, a sanctioned event anymore. They pulled out of that.
So Carolyn said it was higher than last year.
Maybe because they saved money on not licensing it. That was probably their plan.
Yeah.
That's good.
Good. Wow. I think we can end it there. We'll talk more about the semifinals at some point. We have those on here. It kind of keeps sliding by. I want to talk about it because I think we need to talk about that the event organizers are back to the independent groups and not CrossFit, and what that means to semifinals overall. So with that, I do want to talk about it, but we'll catch it. Semifinals aren't first 6 months. We got plenty of time.
Hopefully we get more announcements and we can discuss more of the season once we get more announcements.
Yeah. We have assurances we have the right people to talk about that once we have the final stuff in place. So with that, we will see everyone next week on Thursday Night CrossFit Talk. Goodbye, guys.
We about to change the game. We